Hey, everybody, welcome to Opinionate. I'm your host, Nate Lee, coming to you from Hazleton, PA. I am on and honored to be on today with my good friend, Tony Sands. How are you, Tony?
Nate,
How you doing?
good to
How
be
are
here.
you, pal?
Everything's good. How about you?
I'm good, pal. Good. We had a little technological challenges, a little bit hooking up, but we made it through. Tony was just saying if there was a
Thank God.
10-year-old passing by, he could have had them do it probably in a minute.
Two
But
seconds.
anyway,
2 seconds.
we made it, and that's it. I have been a Sinatra fan my whole life. My memory of meeting you is I was walking down the hallway at the Tropicana. It's probably 20 years ago,
At
and I'm
least.
listening. I'm listening to what I thought was Frank Sinatra playing, and I'm walking past what was it, Tangos?
Thank, what a great memory you have. Yeah, exactly.
Tangos,
Tango.
the nightclub in the Trop, and I look up and I see this guy in a tuxedo singing, and I'm thinking that son of a bitch got to be lip syncing this. There is no way that I am not listening to Sinatra. Walked up, there was a couple of steps I think to get into the joint, and I came up to you, and you were like, "What is this? What is this guy doing?" Like I'm right up to you, and I said to you, "I am the biggest fan you'll ever meet in your life," and that was unbelievable. Something like that.
And that's what grew into a great friendship
A
between you and I.
great friendship. I'm telling you, man, you're like my brother. It's amazing. It's
Feel the same way.
I couldn't hang out with Sinatra, so what a great gift to have gotten you in my life,
And
and I
it's so,
mean that.
and I know we can go back and forth with thanking each other, but I mean, and I feel the same way about you. And God bless you and your businesses. And you even hired me for since we've been knowing each other throughout the years so many times that private parties, functions, corporate
Yeah,
events that you would hire me, and I really appreciate that. And it's
no,
always a pleasure.
it's because I'm your biggest fan. So
I know. I know.
it wasn't me doing you any favors, buddy. It was me being in your company, getting to
And I
listen to that and see that and witness that. And just last month when you were at the country club here down the valley,
yeah.
and you had like six pieces with you, three horns and a bass, and I said to the people I was sitting with, which by the way, I have to tell you that about that. I don't know if I told you that night or not what happened there, but it was hysterical. I always say, not putting anybody down or anything, but I always say, country clubs were invented for people who don't want to sit with po people. Okay?
Especially in Florida.
And, huh?
Especially in
Yeah.
Florida.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, even down the valley, because I said, I'm not a member. First of all, I would never be a member of a place that would have me as a member. But I went to sit down by this lady. She was the only one at the table, and I said to the manager, "Where should I go?" And he said, "I want you up front." So I said, "Okay, well, where?" And he said, "Well, just sit in this table." So I went up to the table. I set my drink down. The lady said to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to sit here." She said, "No, you're not."
Oh my
And I
God.
went, "Well, the manager," she said, "I don't care what anybody said. You're not sitting here." I was like, "Oh, okay. All right. Well, fucking A, what do I do now?" So I went to the manager. I said, what she doesn't. He said, "Oh, you're sitting there." He said, "I already talked to her husband." So now I walked up with her husband and sat down and just looked at her like, nah, 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 nah. That's what I wanted to do to her. I wanted to
Oh
go, nah, nah, nah,
God.
nah, nah, nah. Oh my God, it was funny. And I thought, boy, that was exactly how I feel about country clubs in general. First of all, I felt out of place when I walked in. And the biggest person in the room that night was Joe Madden.
Joe Madden. That you
And
went
he
to
put his
school with,
hand up
right?
and went, "Hey, Nate." And I went, "Okay, I'm good.
I'm good.
Now I'm
I know
good. I
Joe.
know
I
the
know.
biggest guy in the room, and I'll be fine." Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh my
Yeah.
God. So
Well,
anyway,
didn't
I'm
you go to
sitting there with
school with
him,
Joe?
and then, huh?
Didn't you go to school with Joe?
No, he's a little older than I am.
Okay.
But he actually used to coach my brother in Little League.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I mean, we're going back 50 years.
Wow. I tell you, he looks
Yeah.
good, Joe. Joe looks great.
Oh, he does, and he's going to do the podcast one of these days. Um, one of these days soon, and because he has a line of products out that we sell in the restaurant
Oh,
for his foundation.
nice.
He has a foundation, and he all the money goes to this hip. It's Hazelton Integration Project. That's what I love about him. He never forgot about
Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
came from, you know. But enough
Yeah.
about him. Let's talk
Okay.
about you.
Yeah.
The lady said to me when she found out that, I guess the manager came up and she said, I want to thank you for giving me Tony's number, and this is the best gig we've done here so far. And then the lady changed her attitude. She was like, oh man,
Real
thanks
quick.
so much. She said, yeah. She said, where else are you going to get this? And I said, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, this kind of music in this day and age, to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So they just loved it.
I'm so glad.
So hopefully we'll have you back in town here at one venue or another.
And yeah, and there's another show that you put the word out, and it's, a lot of it, my work is from people like you that follow and love the music, and you recommend, so that it's word of mouth. So
Yeah.
whatever you say, I mean, it was a strong statement to her, and she took it on her own to hire me, and
Yeah.
thank God everything turned out to be great, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
And how about they limited it to 100 people?
100 people,
She
and I'll
told
tell
me
you,
that. She said we cut it off at 100 people.
yeah.
We cut some people off that couldn't come.
And you know what? The manager was a good. The guy who general manager is a good friend of yours too.
Yeah, yeah, I know all
And
those cats.
they
Yeah,
all know you there. And you know what? They are. I'll tell you what. Out of all the country clubs, they're really nice people. They're not.
yeah,
You
no,
know, everybody's on the same level. They have a good time. And I
yeah,
don't think there should be no problem for you to get into that club.
not gonna happen,
Not
bro.
gonna.
I really don't. You know what?
I
It's just a thing. I don't know. What can I tell you?
I know you're too busy doing it.
I am too busy. I'm crazy busy right you got some stuff coming up, right? In Sellersville, do you have a show
Yeah.
that I normally come and see you there, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact?
So
That's
which
down by Philly, right? That's the one that's down by
it's
Philly?
actually between, yeah, it's you know what, it's actually, it's not too far from you guys. I mean, it's a little haul, but not too bad. It's between it's in the middle, between, from Philadelphia. It's in the middle of Philadelphia, it's Phoenixville. So it's like maybe 20 minutes from King of Prussia, and then maybe another half an hour to 40 minutes from Philadelphia. So it's
Okay.
not bad. So it's a nice little theater. It's been there since the early 20s, early 30s. And
It's beautiful, yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's got a nice restaurant called the Washington House next
Eat
next
there
door.
all the time. Every
Yeah,
time we
good
go.
food.
Because
Yeah, good.
Phil Vassar plays at the same place.
Oh, he does.
He plays there all the time. So I go there. Yeah, between
Oh.
you and him, I've been there a half a dozen times.
Next time he plays, let me know. We'll go together.
All
But
right.
they have the Washington House, which you usually have dinner there, and then you come see the
Yeah.
show. But that's going to be August 12th, which is a Saturday, and it'll be I think an afternoon show. Just checking. You can buy tickets at the Sellersville Theater.
Okay.
It'll be the Tony Sands That's Life concert, the same concert you've seen at the club.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm recommending that they eat at that restaurant. Make reservations, though.
Yeah,
That restaurant is top notch, man.
yeah, and that's
I've eaten there half a dozen times, and it just, every time I go, it seems like they vary the menu, and it doesn't matter because it's terrific.
How
It's
about
special.
in that it's the Washington House, which was early 1700s. I think that house was 1740, 1750 was built.
Wow.
Whether George Washington stayed there was a possibility. I think he did, and they converted that house into a restaurant, and it's done great. Really is good. We eat there.
Yeah. Where else are you playing?
So we're gonna be there. I'm sorry, that's gonna be I have the dates. That's gonna be August 13th.
Oh,
And
13th.
August 12th, we're going to be in Phoenixville at the Fitzwater Station. It's going to be an outside concert, and that'll be the Rat Pack. So the Rat Pack will be on the 12th, and the Sinatra concert will be on the 13th at Sellersville. Now Fitzwater Station, same thing. Yeah, if you like barbecue, it's pretty big on barbecue. A friend of mine, Frank McLaughlin, is a great guy that I worked with up in Lancaster. He opened that place up about 4 years ago, and it's an old general store that's been converted into a restaurant bar, and it sits right on the canal of the Schuylkill.
Mm.
Kayaking and stuff like that. So we're going to do the Rat Pack in the Grove there, and then on Saturday and Sunday I'll be at the Sellersville Theater.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we got other things coming in August. We're going to be at the Pittman Theater August 24th, and some stuff in Atlantic City. We're going to be in Atlantic City at the St. James. I'll do my concert, Tony Sands concert. That's live at the St. James Hall. I don't know if you know about that place. That's in Ventnor, and then we're going to do a concert outside in Ventnor with the Rat Pack. So we're going to take we're doing a little bit in the summertime. We pick up more in September, but we had a great winter, in Fort Myers that I performed, 4 or 5 months out of the year. We go there in December and leave in April, and so taking it a little bit easy in the summertime. So yeah, things are good. Can't complain.
I have to my priest buddy was telling me the other day that on Sunday this woman was on the steps welcoming people to go into the church.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl was stepping up on the steps, and she was rather well endowed, and she had a see-through shirt on with no bra.
Okay.
And he said to her, "Ma'am, you can't go into church like that." She said, "Excuse me, I have a divine right." He said, "You got a divine left too, but you still can't go in the church like that." I just thought I'd throw that in. I don't know what reminded me of it, but
anytime you want to open up and do some comedy for me, that'd be great.
I know we almost were going to do that, weren't we? The last time you did a show, I think at when you were down at Susie's at Four Blooms, and then would I chicken out? I think I chickened out. I brought you up, but I didn't do any comedy. Right?
Yeah, well, I think you should, look into that. I think you got a great talent, and you always make me laugh.
Yeah, well, I hope it's intentional on my part. But well, that's great. What else? You got anything else you want to talk about?
I'm thinking about coming up to Hazleton, and I know there's a theater not too far from there. What's that large theater? Is it the Hazleton Theater or the Easton Theater?
Oh, the Easton Theater is what you had mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, you've done Mock Chunk before.
Mock Chunk, yeah. Nice theater.
And, hey, how about he put air conditioning in there now?
Did they really?
Yeah.
I think that was a good thing for them to do.
Yeah. I remember I came to see you there one time. It was in August. Wow.
One time I went there, I was performing. I went in at, I think, 165, and I left at 145. So I lost about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, great. I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, it was like a sauna. And I kept thinking I only had like a T-shirt or a short sleeve shirt on. And I'm looking at you in the tuxedo with those lights, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's got to be 200 degrees up there, man.
It was hot. Yeah, never do it. You don't want to do a show
down twice during that show, but
yeah, I mean, back in the day, you didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do a show in the summertime. More or less September, October, November, and that's basically it. But so I'm looking at we're getting some information to do some show up at the Easton Theater. We're looking into maybe bringing that up to November. So hopefully you'll be a part of that, and we can get everything together on that show.
I have a friend here in town. A couple of them actually. They're on the board of the Wiltse Theater.
Oh, really?
Which is in the high school, my old high school.
Oh, okay.
And it's not a high school anymore. It's a middle school.
Okay.
But they redid the gym. They redid the auditorium.
Okay.
And they do private shows there. As a matter of fact, the first show there was Chicago. Because there's a guy from Freeland, right outside of Hazleton, that I guess manages them. His name is Jim Delacroce. He was in Nashville for years.
The name's familiar.
Jim Delacroce, yeah. He's a big shot, apparently. Yes. And he used to hang out with Ringo Starr and Mark Forner.
Yep.
And but anyway, the first show there was Chicago, but I think they lost their butt on the first show. And so now they're they're really particular about who they put in and that kind of thing. So I don't know what kind of deal you have, but I should definitely put her in touch so that she could at least call you.
information. Maybe I think it's better because it's closer to you guys.
Oh, and I
Now,
will pump it.
when you
You
say
know,
Chicago, was that the real? It was the
the
original
real
Chicago.
deal. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, all right, all
Yeah, and
right.
it was amazing. I mean, I couldn't believe. I kept saying to my buddy, I was with my buddy, and I kept saying, "I can't believe I'm sitting in my old high school listening to this band." It just
Oh,
blew
so
my
you went
mind.
to the show?
Oh hell yeah! Oh
Oh
hell
wow,
yeah!
wow,
Yeah, I
wow,
was
wow.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
great
there was
music.
something else that happened that was real strange. Apparently, there's a guy. His name is Tommy Rocco,
Mm-hmm.
and if you look him up, he's written a bunch of number one songs.
Is he?
And they said, and he's Phil Vassar, one of Phil Vassar's real good friends, and they have written some songs together as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear the guy from Chicago band saying, "My friend Tommy Rocco was here, and he wrote this song or something." And I was like, "What? Wait a minute! I know this cat. I can't believe." And I called Phil Vassar and I said, "Tommy Rocco's." He said, "No, he's not. You're out of your mind." 2 months later, I'm at a concert with Phil and Tommy Rocco's there, and I said, "Were you in Hazleton 2 months ago?" And he goes, "Sure was."
No
And I
kidding.
said, "You'll see that, you son of a bitch. I could have went and said hello to him."
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
didn't.
Now,
I didn't make an attempt to see him because he said, "You're crazy. You must have misunderstood her."
so what he does is he recorded he wrote a lot of songs. You're saying, and
He
he
wrote a
performed.
bunch of songs. I guess
Sure.
Chicago did one of them at some point. One of
Oh,
them,
okay.
and
Yeah,
because somebody said, if he wrote this song, and so that was pretty cool. And he's a great guy,
yeah.
but he lives in upstate New York. But he
Okay.
hangs out in Nashville and he writes with other writers, like they do.
Right.
And
Now, going back to your friend Phil, how's he
yeah,
doing?
he's doing great. He's
Good.
got some concert dates coming up,
Oh, good.
and he is, he had a little health issue,
Right.
which he doesn't like for us to talk about, but that's okay. But he's doing much, much better,
Good. Good.
and he's booking shows. His tour was originally canceled, and now he's booking shows, and it brings a tear to my eye
Oh,
to
sure.
know
You
that
want to see
he's
him get?
out
That's
there.
probably the best remedy
That's,
for him to go back and
yeah,
work and take it
yeah,
easy. You don't have to do every show after show, but just to get
yeah,
back into things and
yeah,
funny you mentioned Tony Bennett. That's he's he's no longer performing uh, uh, because he has the Alzheimer's. Uh,
right.
he you could see him on video. He's I guess he's in his 90s, but he'll get on and do a few songs that it just it tears you right up. I mean, he still has
Yeah,
that vocal power, but
yeah,
he wants to sing. So he'll get on Facebook and he'll do a couple songs, or the beginning of the song, and he
yeah.
remembers all the words to the
Well,
song.
that's what
So
they said. He has no problem remembering the words, but other than that, he's got some issues. But that's
oh
crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
What a
crazy.
great performer. Yeah, last of the saloon songs, as Sinatra would say.
Yeah, he's done. That's it, right? After him, it's over.
Now
There's
talking about
nobody.
Sinatra,
Then it's just you, baby.
yeah, no, but
Then
the man himself. Did you ever see him live? Did you ever see any concerts live with Frank?
Tony Bennett
No,
or
Sinatra.
Sinatra. Oh yeah, I saw his last show at Radio City in
Okay.
1992 or three,
Oh wow.
and I think he was 78 at the time.
Okay.
And I said my dad actually found out about it, got the tickets, and then Danielle and I flew up from Nashville,
No way.
and we were walking to the studio. We were walking to the
Radio City.
yeah, thank you. Talk
Hmm.
about Alzheimer's. And I said to my father, "This is the best joint I ever smoked." I mean, I was so high on the fact that I was going to be breathing the same air.
Was that the first time you seen him
Yeah, that was the first and
live?
only time.
Yeah. And I
And he
felt the
was great.
same way. My story is when I was 17 years old. Okay. I saved enough money, which took me a while to go see Sinatra, and I had
All
a
right.
date. And we were 17, so I was into Sinatra when I was 11 years old because my parents used to play the music over and over again. When I first heard him when I was 10 years old, I don't know if I told you the story, but I said to myself, this guy has something that nobody else has, and I could relate to him because at 10 years old, when he would sing a song, not only would he sing a song and phrase it to unbelievable notes. he would also paint a picture for me. So
Yeah.
seeing him, hearing him sing it, and he painted a picture, I knew exactly who he was talking about. But again, anyway, get back to my story. 17 years old, I followed him since I was 10 years old, sang along with the records. Um, I I saved enough money to see him at this place, the old Latin Casino in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. It was a
Wow.
place where all the big stars, Tony Bennett, Tom Jones, you name them, they were there before Atlantic City exploded with the casinos. And I'm talking about the late 60s, early 70s. So I saved
Right.
enough money for my date. I had the tickets were $25 a piece. Sinatra,
Wow.
live
That was a
band,
lot
right?
of money then.
A lot of money then. It took a date. She didn't know Sinatra from whatever. So we
Right.
went there. I gave the maitre d' $10, and I was right up front.
Big shot. Spokane.
Sinatra comes on, does about 6 or 7 songs. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce my good buddy." Now this wasn't on the billboard outside. Mr. D. Martin. D. Martin walked on, and I saw them 2 for the price of 1. And I was
Wow.
in my. I couldn't. And this is when you were able to smoke at the tables
Oh, sure.
and drink.
Unreal. Yeah.
What a. And then I seen him about 3 or 4 times after that. But that was the greatest one. First time is always the best, you know. I mean,
I guess.
they're all good, but the first time is like, oh God, you know. But at that young age, to see him, it's great. So we got to keep
My
his music going,
absolutely, and that's what you do, and that's you. Nobody does it like you. My story with Sinatra was I got to know Tommy Lasorda,
Mm.
the baseball guy.
Mm-hmm.
He used to come in my restaurant in Nashville. There's a long story, but I'm going to try to make it short about how I got to know him and whatever. But anyway, he said my mother, who was from Norristown, PA, right outside Philly, that's where
Right.
Tommy's from.
Right.
And he said my mother used to brag not that her son was Tommy Lasorda, but that her son was friends with Frank Sinatra. And he said she never got to meet him. So one time Frank was doing shows in Cherry Hill.
That's right. At the Latin Casino.
Yeah. And he said, I told him, why don't you go to my mother's house and she'll make you scroll and beans, which we call it peasant food, right? Escarole and beans.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sinatra's favorite food.
Yeah, okay.
So they made the arrangements. Sinatra shows up at her house with like 9 cars, 15 people, the entourage. So they go in, they eat, and she says to him, I'll send you food every day that you're here if you send your driver. So he said, okay, you come to the show tonight. He said, I'll send my limo and they'll pick you up, you and a friend, whoever you want to bring. So sure enough, they go to the show. He comes out with flowers. She's front row center.
Mm.
I'm dedicating the show to Mom Lasorda, he says.
Wow.
He steps down, gives her the flowers, does the show. The next day, his driver shows up, takes the food.
Picks up the food.
The next day, the driver comes again, picks up the food. So now he calls her up. He's leaving. He says, Mom Lasorda. He said, man, I wish I could take you on the road with me. Remember he used to say that? Man, I wish I could take you on the road with me. He said, those meals were amazing, he said. Tommy said, this typical old Italian woman, she said to him, never mind that. Where are my dishes? Huh?
Oh yeah.
True story. So he had to send the dishes back with the limo. He knocks on the door of the limo driver. She said, wait a minute. And she's going through to make sure everything's there.
Oh my God.
Imagine. I said, if he would have done that to me at a show, he could have had the dishes. He could have taken my wife. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell that story for the rest of my life. I need the friggin' dishes back. Are you kidding me? Get the hell out of here.
And don't forget
Tommy
about
said, typical old Italian woman.
Dishes and Tupperware.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah, like the plastic slip covers on the couch.
And the doilies on the stove upstairs because downstairs was the kitchen, right? In the basement.
Absolutely, yeah. She was worried more about the dishes than anything else.
Exactly. My grandmother had that runner, the plastic runner, so you didn't mess up the carpet on the way. It
Meanwhile, you
went
break
from
your
the
neck.
front door to the fucking dining room over here. You know what I mean? Like, it was, yeah,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah.
I'll
My aunt
never
used to.
forget it.
My aunt used to, if cleaning, she would put down paper, newspaper, and you had to walk on the newspaper until she was done cleaning. Yeah.
Honest to
So
God.
yeah.
We could go on and on about that stuff, man.
Oh my.
That's
Well,
we
he
talk.
was a big Dodgers fan, and
Well,
he loved the Dodgers. Who knows what happens now, but he was a big Dodgers fan, and he would go on and party for weeks when the Dodgers would win the pennant or the series.
who's that? Oh yeah.
Oh, Sinatra, yeah, yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
He loved
Well,
their
him and
style.
Tommy were great. They were great friends.
Yeah,
Him and
yeah,
Tommy, and that's what Tommy said. He said I could sit here and tell you stories for hours.
yeah.
He
Now,
came in like, huh?
have you ever been to a restaurant called Patsy's in New York City?
No.
It's a famous restaurant. Sinatra used to eat at all the time. He would actually go to the game, when I guess the Dodgers playing the Yankees, and when the Dodgers would win, they would go to Patsy's and celebrate. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, we went there. It was like a Sinatra convention type thing, where Sal Valentine was on America's Got Talent. He was there. A couple
Oh
other
yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you
and
mean.
yeah, the pizza guy, and we all about 20 of us, and we sat in Sinatra's room. He had a room upstairs in Patsy's, and what he would do is when he would go to that room, he would have it curtained off. It was a big curtain that we slide, and he would like that room. It was all the way up second floor in the back, and that's where we sat. We sat where Sinatra would celebrate the Dodgers' victory over the Yankees, and we had a good
Wow.
time. He had some dishes that were named after him, and that's still on the menu. And if you ever get a chance, it's in the city. It's New York City. I forget what street it's called. Patsy's Italian Restaurant, or look it up. And tell them you want to go upstairs and sit by Sinatra's room. It's a great
I'm
place.
gonna
And then he
definitely
would
do
go
it.
out the back. He didn't want anybody to see him in and out. He'd come up the back steps in the alley, and he'd leave from the back.
So
So this
nobody
was
even
one
knew he
less.
was there.
No,
Yeah.
no, it was. Yeah,
They just opened a Sinatra restaurant in Nashville,
I heard.
and somebody told me it is awesome.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Well, yeah. Well, anytime you want to meet me in Nashville, you know I'm there. I
And
mean,
you know
I
the
go
people.
like 6 times a year, and
Well,
I know everybody.
I never been there, and I heard it's a great town for music, live music all over. I would love to go. Yeah, maybe we can take a couple days off and shoot down there and check out that restaurant because the guy really put it into perspective of what Sinatra's all about with his pictures, and it's just
No,
would
I
be a
heard it's
nice.
phenomenal. I heard it's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Damn, maybe we could even do a show there.
that'd be great. That'd be great.
Wow.
I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll invite Phil. Phil's in
Oh, he'll
Nashville, right?
be there. He would be there. Absolutely. Sure.
Maybe we could connect all three together if he has some time. That'd be great. I would love to.
All right. We'll have to work on that. We will have to
Okay.
work on that for sure.
All right.
Yeah, Lasorda was funny, man. He was just my kid. My kid was like 8 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my kid used to get up on a bar stool in the restaurant at night and sing.
Yeah.
He used to sing "Hey Gumbare," and he used to
Hey,
pass out the
Kumba.
words. "Che va sonare," Casey's right. So he used to pass out the words. He was like 6 or 7. It was cute.
God bless
And
him.
then he would get up on a bar stool with a fedora and sing.
Now this
So
is at your restaurant.
at my restaurant in Nashville. So
Mm-hmm.
when the first time Lasorda ever came in, I called Danielle and I said, "Bring Zach up here. I want him to meet this guy."
Nice.
So my kid sits down at the lunch table and he says to him, "Do you want to hear a song?" And Tommy said, "Yeah." So a little while before that, as a gift to me, my son learned this song that this Italian guy used to sing at our house. And it was called Tony the Ice Cement.
I remember that song because you and your son used to sing
We
it
did
when I
it.
used
Right,
to work with you guys. Yeah.
right. And
Great
I
song.
never knew the words to that song. And my son learned it as a gift for me for Father's Day. I cried the whole way through it the first time he ever did it.
Yeah, Iceman.
But he did that to Tommy Lasorda, and Tommy Lasorda said to me, "Let me tell you something. I've been all over the world. I ain't never seen no shit like that. He goes, yeah, he just 7 years old, and the kid's going
Oh my!
sausagioni, pastrami, biga salami, capicola, escarola, meatball, gorgonzola,
I
mozzarella,
re- I love that
right?
song. I remember the first time I heard you and your son sing it, and I couldn't
Yeah,
believe it. And was it at the Stagecoach?
yeah, the stagecoach, sure, yeah,
And you said, you mind if me and my son do a song? I said, are you kidding me? I said, yeah. You killed it.
uh,
Everybody loved it. It was just, I mean, the timing, the
yeah.
vocals, the words, and just going back and forth. And it's not an easy song to do.
No,
But when you
exactly,
guys
yeah,
got finished, you had to, yeah, I think you had a standing ovation.
yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun.
When's the last time
Tommy
you
sang
did
there,
something like that?
huh?
That's, when's the last time you and your son sang that song?
Somebody, he doesn't like to do that kind of stuff anymore.
Okay.
But somebody who means a lot to him, and I can't tell you who it is, begged him to do it one night. We were somewhere and said, Zach, please, will you do it?
Yeah.
So I said, come on, I'll do it with you. And then he did it with me, and we did it. It was probably a couple of years ago. He
Okay.
doesn't like doing that anymore, but
Yeah.
he grew out of it, I guess. It was
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Great
But
song.
Tommy loved it. Every time Tommy came in with other people, he would make Zach do that. Come on, kid, get up there and do it. And yeah, he was something else.
Yeah.
Lasorda was something
Yeah.
else.
Oh yeah.
My friend,
Yeah.
I had another guy that used to do a Sinatra show in Nashville. His name
Hmm.
was DeVito.
Okay.
DeVito Tazzi. He was half
Okay.
Jewish and half Italian. He said he was a Jawapi. Right?
I never
So he
heard that
said,
term.
somebody said to him one time, he said, have you ever had a dish named after you? He said, no, but I've had a lot of them thrown at me at times. He was a piece of work. I wonder what he's doing now.
Not only a singer,
DeVito.
a great comedian. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's fun.
yeah,
Yeah, you never know. You pick up all these different lines and you can use them. So yeah.
yep.
Oh god, how's everything at the restaurant? Doing good?
Yeah, we introduced the Fung Doodle the other day.
I love it.
Oh, I told you.
Yeah, I see.
That's
Well, I
walk.
see it all the time. Yeah.
I
It's
saw
called.
when that guy invented the walking taco. When people come up with marketing stuff like that, like I just identify with that. I love that. Something so different, so crazy, so out of the box.
It works.
And it works. And ever since then, I'm trying to come up with something that's comparable to that, but on the Italian side. And the other day, because I made a cone, I had to make a mold out of aluminum foil, and then I made homemade dough, and I rolled it, and then I wrapped it around the thing, and I made it looked like an ice cream cone, but it was bigger, and filled it with spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh wow.
So you could eat the whole thing, right?
Right.
Guess what? Too much labor, man. It took me about a half hour to make each of them, and I thought this ain't never going to work. So that was about a year and a half ago. And then the other day I was looking at these cups, and I thought, I could just do that. And that's how I came up with it. And I mean, we're selling them pretty good. Thursday was the first day we sold them, and we sold a bunch. And then yesterday we sold some too. And I thought if I was at a fair, like we
Yeah.
have the Bloomsburg
Absolutely.
Fair up here, or
Absolutely.
I mean,
What's great
you
about
wouldn't be
that
able to
dish?
keep up.
What's great
Huh?
about that dish is what's great about the dish. You got everything in the cup. So you got your macaroni, right?
Right,
And
right.
you got like maybe how many different sauces?
Sauce.
You have,
We had 6 different sauces.
so you have 6 different sauces. So you have a choice, whether it be
Yeah,
beef
tortellini
sauce.
Alfredo,
Yeah,
cavatelli bolognese, and it's in a cup,
it's
and
in a
you
cup.
just and the breadstick sticking out of the
Right
top
in
of
it.
it.
So you have your bread, you have your macaroni, and I guess you get a plastic fork with it, right? You just scoop
Absolutely,
it right up.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
have everything that would go great at
at a
any kind of
fair or out of a
yeah,
truck,
yeah.
or out of a truck.
Easy to take care out of a truck. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I
fungoodle,
like fun doodle. Fun doodle.
fungoodle.
Is that
Yeah, fungoodle.
fun?
Yeah, like fungool, but it's a
Yeah.
fungoodle. Yeah.
Now, when you were coming up with that name, were you getting mad at the time at something, and you said fun? And what? Maybe I'm thinking of
I was just trying to come up with something that was glitchy, but it's hard to say. It's even hard for me to remember what it is and to say. So I don't know if it's going to stick. I just like fungool. My grandparents, my parents, they always said fungool,
Oh yeah.
And so I love that. There was a lady in yesterday. This is why I think I'll keep it that way. She was great friends with my mother, which makes her
Okay.
80 years old.
Okay.
And she said they ordered like 4 of them to go. And she said, I just love it because I get to say that word all the time now. She said, fungal. I was like, okay, well, whatever works,
Yeah.
fungal.
Hey, you got to
I
have a
said, are
little
you
catch.
worried about the grandkids? She said, I'm going home. 2 of these are for my grandkids. I said, are you worried? She said, no, I'm just going to tell them fun noodles. And I thought, beautiful.
A noodle.
Fun noodles. Fun
And
noodles.
that's what it is. Sometimes it's a little catch until they
That's it.
try it out, they like it, and that's it. It's a
Yeah.
name, how you
Yeah.
present it. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
And we do that in the entertainment business too.
Yeah.
So
Well, you have to
whatever we
because
can do to.
you have to set yourself
Yep.
aside, man. You gotta be. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, my friend, I appreciate you doing the show.
My pleasure, Nate. Always a pleasure doing a show with you. I'm going to look into doing something in your area, hopefully in the near future, and then hopefully we'll work together and we'll do more of this.
Sounds great, man.
All right, buddy.
Sounds great. All right. Take care,
All
and
the
I will
best.
see you
Bye.
soon. Okay, pal. All
Take
the
care.
best.